Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Excellent. It's the end of the conference. Probably we are a little bit tired, but we are very excited to be with you today and share some information about how we can pick the best partners, because sometimes it may be a challenge. And before we do that, let us quickly introduce ourselves. I'm Katya Akudovich, and I'm VP of Strategic Growth and Development at SEMrush. SEMrush is a leading online marketing solutions company that help you understand your competitor strategy, how actually they drive business to their website, what are the tools, techniques they use, and then exactly how you can do it yourself. And Katya, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Katya, and I run business development and strategic partnerships at PandaDoc. PandaDoc is a basically sales proposal automation solution with a digital signature. Our main goal is to accelerate the speed at which companies transact.
Okay, great. And you probably, by being at the conference, doing some networking, and especially after yesterday's happy hour, you may know your good partners. But I want to learn something from Katya, and I'm going to ask a little bit tricky question, so we can get some information from her head. Katya, what do you think have been your unsuccessful partnership? Probably this is not the question you expected, right?
Yeah, so unsuccessful one. I'd like to preface that, quite some time we don't put enough attention to the journeys that lead into nowhere, but the one experience that comes to mind, we've learned so much from it, and it was such a great journey that although it didn't end up in the best way possible, we still learned more than from a lot of our more successful partnerships. So last year, we were building a native integration into a new Microsoft product. It was something they were about to release, and we would basically come natively on it, which there's no amount of money you can pay to Microsoft to communicate to all Office users, for example, that there is PandaDoc out there, right? So it all looked amazing, but more importantly, it was just such an incredible excitement and commitment level from Microsoft that I frankly didn't expect. I used to work at Microsoft 10 years ago, and this was a brand new Microsoft, different attitude, just positive excitement. Everyone knew why they were in it, and it was a pleasure to work with them. We also have an engineering team based in Europe. It was an incredible experience for them to work alongside Microsoft engineers, and they learned a lot. It felt good for them. They also were able to every day find bugs in the Microsoft code, which was, also a great experience on both sides, and Microsoft appreciated it. And everything was going great. It was a really actually cool integration. And then one day, Microsoft did what they love to do. They have their annual restructuring event, and which not to say, that's not a problem. I think it's a great thing that they've been able to maintain several past years. They've been restructuring according to the vision that they have, and they're moving in the right direction. That's all great. But essentially what happened is that the entire team on all levels that we were working with, which was, all the way pretty high up, they began reporting into a completely different department that had their priorities set. And so they didn't release the product that we were integrating into.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah. So with your experience with Microsoft, as well as your work in the past in Microsoft itself, then in Google and other companies, do you feel that doesn't make sense to try to build a partnership with a significantly bigger company than yourself?
Sorry, guys. Actually, no. No, I think that it's easy to fall into that thinking, but obviously exponential growth, is most likely achieved through a partnership with a company that is significantly bigger than you are. And I think that everyone should strive to achieve something like that. But what I've seen a lot in my career happen is that everyone, especially the smaller the startup and the bigger the company you partner with, everyone gets so excited. You're like, the eyes lit up. We're going to partner with Microsoft, Google, SAP, whatever. It's going to be amazing. And all reason goes out of the window. But more importantly, you can see that, yes, the metrics, like if we do this integration, the numbers are going to look great, and branding opportunities and all of that, and it's all going to be cool. And then they completely miss out to calculate the opportunity cost, right? So let's take an example, like if you build an integration with a bigger partner, it's probably going to take a year because things are going to get postponed constantly. So within that year, you could have built 3 integrations with much smaller partners, but they're predictable. You know you're both interested. You know they 100% would be released. So what is the revenue, potential revenue that those 3 would bring you, right? So now you have this kind of understanding of what you the money that could have come in, and you also understand the costs of a year of development, right? Yeah. And now imagine none of that happens. Does it kill you? Do you need to raise another round? Do you need to raise a bridge? Did it significantly affect your kind of financing situation, right? So you cannot let the excitement put you in a situation that's going to kill your company. And I've seen that happen over and over again, right? It's quite often when you work with bigger companies, it doesn't get released. So where does it leave you? You have to understand your risks. You have to calculate the opportunity cost. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. Take the risk. It's obviously, something great might come out of it, but you can't let it kill you.
Okay, yeah, I think it's great insight for all of us to consider, because sometimes we may feel, yes, there is Microsoft, or there is Salesforce, and we want to have a partnership, and we put all our resources there.
Yeah, so actually, speaking of which, I've heard something cool happen at TM Rush recently. You partnered with a company called Yext, right?
Yeah, so we did build a partnership with Yext. For those that don't know, it's a marketing software that allows to keep business information consistent, such as your address, phone number across the web in different directories, search engines. And we were building similar product ourselves, thinking, okay, we can make a great product for SMBs so they can get higher rankings in Google, as well as get more traffic to their websites. And our team was doing this for maybe 3-6 months, and it wasn't going as well. And the reason is that in order to build a product like this, you need to have about 100 partners to connect with and build relationship with them. And it's going to lead to an opportunity for our customers to update information. And the partnership with Yext was amazing because we were able to get the same value just using one partner and having one connector. What I like personally about this partnership, that our teams were extremely well aligned, including product, sales, marketing, and sometimes it's really hard to get this. And this integration allowed us to get quicker the product to the market. After we built the integration, in about 3 months, we have an MVP that we were able to launch, and we received a lot of great feedback. And when we did cost-benefit analysis, the cost of having just one integration instead of having hundreds there was significant for us, significant cost saving. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
So, question. Who approached who first? Did you come to them or did they come to you?
It's a good question because during our development cycle, we were thinking, should we actually build it yourself? At a certain point, when we put a lot of resources into the product and it's not going well, it doesn't come out as well as you thought it would be, then you start thinking, should we just partner with just one company? And we were at that stage, and then Yext reached out to us, and they said, oh guys, do you want to work together? And so I said, of course, let's see if we can work out a deal, yeah.
So why? Why would a company that you don't seemingly have the same target audience with, their enterprise, you kind of SMB, bottom of the thing there. So why would they reach out to you?
Because very often when we are trying to find partners, we are looking at overlap in audiences. And there is another angle that you can look at is their target audience was primarily enterprise, and we are SMBs. So when they were using the direct sales force, the cost to acquire a customer was very high for them, and they just couldn't lower their price. That is why they used us as an opportunity for them to reach over 3 million users that are also marketers, but our target audience is actually SMBs. And it worked out really well for them as well as for us. In just 3 months, we became one of the biggest resellers of their product by doing an integration. And also, if we look at our own numbers, there is like extremely great trajectory, and our marketing was engaged into promoting the partnerships, this partnership, as well as we have our sales team selling additional product. It's additional value for our users, and at the same time, additional revenue stream for us.
Very cool. So, given your vast experience building exponential growth over and over again for SEMrush in America, and then expanding internationally, and you guys have such great success in countries like Japan or China, places where sometimes we're so afraid to go after. What do you look at before building integration? How do you sell them internally, right? Because you can kind of fall into that situation where you want to build like another 150, right? So how do you pick one? How do you make a business case for an integration?
Yeah, really great question, because I think it doesn't matter the size of the organization, we all have limited resources. And sometimes our product teams may look, should we build another integration, or should we add something else to existing product that we have that is going to benefit maybe thousands of users? That is why we, being on the business side, need to be very strong in creating a business case that will sell the idea to the company. So of course, we do analysis, like metrics analysis. We understand as much as we can about the other business. We analyze their target market, if there is an overlap, also what is their pricing model. And in addition to that, we look not just where we are right now, but where both of us are going. Our strategies align. Both organizations see value in this partnership. And then we do very detailed analysis on the integration itself. What are the resources that are required in order for us to build the integration? Because sometimes, depending on the type, there may be multiple teams involved, and what is the total? However, lately, in the last 2 years, we started looking not just about the resources required to build the integration, but also promote it, and what is the outcome. And from revenue standpoint as well, what is the growth potential there? And even with the Yext partnership, so first we always start small. What is MVP? And this partnership have been doing really well. We are looking at the next level, because first stage was for us to provide information on how to update information in the web for all the businesses. But now we allow users to do reputation management by using the same API. So this is how we start and understand the business case, sell the integration internally, and then we build on top of this. Yeah.
Very cool.
And Katya, is there anything else that you may think would be important besides looking at metric and analyzing the partnership and how it's going?
Yeah, I strongly believe there's a very, very kind of important part of this whole process is the human part, right? Mm-hmm. And so you need to have excitement on the other side to keep moving the partnership forward, because a lot of things can go wrong, and the other company priorities might change, especially in the situation where you're integrating into someone, you need their help technically, you depend on them, especially if they're bigger on go-to-market strategy and working together. So at the end of the day, in the worst case scenario, what is incentivizing them to keep moving this thing forward? And I think excitement on the other side is the consequence of understanding value, right? So you have to very, very clearly present to your partner what is the value, how does that contribute to their OKRs and their revenue, their pipeline. And for that, it's important for you to understand where they're going, and it's not always obvious where the company's, next 2 years, how the next 2 years for your partner look like, but what's the actual strategic direction, and kind of how do you fit into it and how do you contribute to it? And actually, the only reason Microsoft integration even happened, I spent a year researching where is Microsoft heading in the next 5 years, right? In order to approach them, because they can pick anyone. Why would they pick a company with whatever 8,000 customers at that point? Tiny little thing. So if you understand where they're moving, you can very easily show them how you're solving their problems before. Like, they don't really care about your problems, but if they understand how you solve for their problems, and they get excited, they understand the value, and they move things forward when everything goes wrong or sideways a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you, and I really like the point that you mentioned about excitement and human element, because I truly believe it's crucial. And we built an integration with HubSpot not too long ago. And actually, I was surprised how quickly both teams worked. HubSpot at that time was looking for a partner who would be able to allow their users to track the rankings in Google, how well the companies are doing. And we were thinking, okay, so we have this product, and how can we deliver quickly the results to HubSpot? And our teams really work well together for I think there was a month, but during the 2 weeks period, we were able to build the integration. For our company, where we have over 700 employees right now, and everyone is engaged in their own processes, it's really hard sometimes to prioritize an integration. But I think was a lot about the human element, engagement. Of course, value that you mentioned, there was a mutual benefit for us as well as HubSpot. But then it was also how teams were excited to work together.
Very cool.
Yeah. And we have already talked a little bit about straightforward integrations and partnerships where the value is clear and we see the value for ourselves as well as for our partner. But have you had any cases when you didn't really see the value immediately? However, by digging deeper, you really were able to present the value to another company?
Yeah, great question. There is something to doing a very nonlinear integration, because I think there is an opportunity where you look at a company, you're like, okay, you're in completely different industries, there's not much in common, you don't have the same customer. But then if you do find an angle, you can end up being a monopoly in a certain way on their marketplace for your product, because they clearly not working with anyone else, right? So the question is kind of how do you approach them, and how do you show them that there is an opportunity there? And there's a conversation that we're having right now, and I was looking around at e-commerce a lot and kind of thinking about it, and we have a sales proposal solution, right, that has a digital signature, but we always thought, okay, well, we only work with companies that are B2B. We help transact the deals that require a document. And then you have BigCommerce, you have Shopify, and you kind of start thinking, well, there's got to be some big deals there. And if a deal is 10 grand, if you're buying a car online, right, there is some customization. There is no question around it, right? Or if you want to sell something more complex than what you're selling right now in your shop on Shopify, how do you create that agreement? How do you customize the agreement? Is there something like that there? And then what happened to those deals, right? And so I approached BigCommerce, and we had a very interesting conversation. You kind of can see as part of the conversation where in the beginning, they're not excited, they don't want to really talk to you, they take a call out of courtesy. And then I kept poking the questions on those larger deals and what's happening, and became very clear that they do have those deals. And they notice that a significant amount of larger deals, they fall off, right? So they can see that the customer is sort of in a checkout process, but then something happens offline where they agree that they're going to do a deal, but then they email each other, Word document or whatever, and there's something there that they have to change. That deal doesn't get processed online. And if it doesn't get processed online, BigCommerce doesn't get their rev share from PayPal or whatever, which is a huge part of their business, right? And so then it becomes clear how we, with our integration, can bring all of those customers back online. And so we can bring all of that revenue for BigCommerce back online, and you can see how like the excitement level just skyrocketed right away, just in the matter of one conversation. And if you can, we have not partnered with them. We are still kind of talking. We're both excited about it. We have to build it, so it's it's kind of just a story. But if you look around, there's stories like that left and right. I talked to MailChimp during SaaStr, and I kind of had a feeling, well, they have all this data. What is MailChimp? What is SurveyMonkey? It's basically CRM, right? The way I look at it. And so how are they going to use that data? What are they going to do with it? And they also go in kind of into B2B space and building that pipeline. And you can, although let's say hypothetically MailChimp is significantly bigger than PandaDoc, we could generate them revenue from the users that they don't have, because our customers probably don't use them. We don't know. But there are situations like that where you can build something new and you can be the first one, and you can benefit from that significantly.
Okay, I think this is a great story, and we can certainly learn from this and look around and see if there are more interesting business cases. And we have already discussed like partnering with big companies, about creating a business case, as well as how you can find unusual partnerships. And what is the bottom line? So what would you like everyone to take away from this session?
Well, I think we covered great points. Obviously, you look at metrics, and in this day and age, you can predict them so much better. You know, there's companies like Crossbeam, which I'm so happy that they, kind of came about, and you can see kind of what you can get out of most partnerships. You understand the value and all of those things. I think the one important thing, and like the opportunity cost, but it's important to understand that you shouldn't be looking at any partnership in a snapshot. You shouldn't be looking at your company as a snapshot and as a partner in a snapshot. It's all a living organisms, and things change, priorities change. Silicon Valley, super fast-paced, right? Like every quarter, smaller companies run in completely different direction. Everything changes so fast. So once again, understanding where your partner is going, and are you aligned in where you're going to be when the integration is out there, when it's time to go to market. Are they going to be still interested in committing on the same level? It's kind of really, really digging deep into strategy for yourself and your partners, and understanding you're moving in the same direction. I think is one very important thing there.
Yeah, thank you, Katya. You certainly have a lot of experience. Thank you for sharing this with us. And we are always looking to build new amazing partnerships, as well as we are keeping an eye for great talent. So let us know if you are interested, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
No, and come on, everyone's integrating.
So I'll kick things off. So I don't work for Microsoft, but I work for Google. So you're going back to your first example, Katya. So sorry that happened. I can totally relate to that, working for a big company. My question is, you mentioned that you still see value in doing those one-off, right, large partner integrations. How do you motivate your team? What do you tell your team next time you're trying to do that with, say, Salesforce or Google or another big company?
That's a great question. And I think with motivation, that's another point with integration. You're working with a team of probably 10 people, because you have a PM, you have engineering lead, he has engineers, and then they do QA, and then you have product marketing, then you have content marketing. You have a group of people that kind of have to stay excited. And I think on the engineering side, that was a bit disappointing at the end for them, especially if you're engineers overseas and they were so excited that their work is like going into Microsoft. But I was selling them on kind of bigger story, and I think they were working hard because they were excited. So next time, if I were to do something different, I would actually separate that whole big cake into small little pieces and figure out which part of code is specifically interesting to them that they can improve in the process. We're huge on training at PandaDoc. Everyone has a like educational budget, and I would just kind of separate it all and get them excited about their specific interests, and build the team from perspective of who can benefit most and going to be most excited to learn from that opportunity. What do you think? How would you motivate a team?
Yeah, it's become challenging afterwards, after that experience, especially if team puts so much time and efforts, energy into building the partnership. So I think it again starts with hopefully it's going to be a different team in the first place. What if it's not? So you do need to sell them on value and keep them excited and present this as another yes. Explain them why it didn't work out. Yes, sometimes there are things out of our control, but what if that integration went well? What about this potential? There could be like additional 3,000 users if this integration is built. So how long would it take us to get 3,000 users, for example, if we would just sell one-on-one through direct sales? How many salespeople do we need to hire? Just do cost analysis there, and what are the alternatives to this? How can you generate the same number of customers and revenue by existing resources you have and using your sales team and marketing? So just creating a bigger case and outlining that the resources may not be as significant compared to the opportunity.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Other questions? Katya, Marina, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.